Why, hello everyone. I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. In this video, we're going to build upon off what we did in the last video. So in the last video, we made a quick form where users can select their name and select which group they want to be added to, and it will automatically add them to this ServiceNow group. So now we're going to add a little bit of an improvement, and we're going to filter out in required group the groups that the user is already in. So for example, if I look at the user Abdel Tutor, and I'm just going to go to the user table, and then we're going to do a control click. I can also look at it by clicking on the eye icon and then going down. We can see there's one here, and then do a control click. And we can see that the user is in App Engine Admins, so that's the group that they're in. And what happens is that this user is able to see and select App Engine Admins, which might not be something we want because they're already in the group, and this form is automated. So I think it's better to just filter it out, and it's a better user experience to not display the groups to the user that they're already in. It's also a great use case because we're going to need to touch on the topic advanced reference quantifiers for this video in order to do this. So, which is a good learning experience. It's always fun to do something with the word or the the name word advanced in it. And the reason for this is because a simple reference quantifier is only going to show active users. But if we want to see what groups the user is in so that we can filter them out, and this reference points to the groups table, we don't have this information on the groups table. We only have it on the group members table, which is completely just a different table that's related called sys underscore user underscore gr member. So we're actually going to have to query on this table with the user that is selected on the requested for, check what groups they're in, and then filter that out here from the required groups field. And to do that, we're going to need to write a script include that is going to have a function that does this logic, and then we're going to call this function in the advanced reference quantifier. So let's jump to creating the script include. A script include is really just a server-side script in ServiceNow. And this is where we can do queries with server-side scripting. So we're going to call the name of this script GetUserGroups and make it available in all application scopes. And this, let me just Control S to save that. So we're going to create a function called fetch groups. And this function is going to take in the requested for field. So we're going to, when we call this function, we're going to pass in the requested for field. And let's make an array called groups. And this is going to contain all the groups that the user is in so that we can track that. And then we will create a variable that will store the query that we're going to make to the sys user gr member table. So glide record. We'll grab the internal name of this table just to make sure that I spell it correctly. Sys underscore user underscore gr member. And I'm going to show you this table again just for fun. Actually, I'm going to leave that open because we're going to need that. Let me, or I'll just come back to it when we need it. So if I go to this table now, the dot list is always a handy shortcut. We can see that, okay, it has the user and it has the groups that they're in. So we need to query this column on the table based off of the requested for sys ID. So now that we've created our glide record, which will be a reference to that table, we can start constructing our query. So we can do add query, and we want the user column name. I have too many tabs open right now, but it is on the left side, of course. If I double click, SN Utils is a great plugin. I highly recommend it. It allows you to double click and see the internal name of tables and columns. So we can see it's just user. and we want to do it by the requested for, which will be the sys_id that we will pass into it when we call this function. And then that's pretty much it. We're just going to go ahead and query it. And then for all the records that we found with this query, so we'll just do a .next, so we'll just keep going for every record that it found. We're going to push the group sys_id to the groups array so that we have a reference of it. So this will be group member dot get value, and then of course the internal name is probably just group, and it is, so we're just going to type in group here. And then we want to return our query. So this will be for the filtering. So we want to say where the sys_id is not in the groups that are found. So we'll just join them with a comma. So this will essentially not display the groups that they're already in. It will only show groups that the user is not already in. And I'm also just going to add a little validation where if it's a false variable, the requested for, meaning the requested for hasn't been selected yet, like so not requested for, we're just going to return all the groups because we don't know which ones to filter out yet until the user is selected. So we're sys user not in. So not in nothing, which means it won't filter out anything. It'll just simply display all the groups. So that is pretty much it. Let's just add a comma so that we don't get some syntax errors. I'm going to go ahead and control S, and that is our function that should do everything, assuming I didn't make any mistakes. And now if I go back to our catalog items, so I'm going to search for maintain items, and then let's go back to what we did. So add user to group. And I am going to click on our required group field. And then when that loads, almost there, we're going to change this from simple to advanced. And we're going to put JavaScript in front of it to let ServiceNow know we're going to put some JavaScript scripting in here. And we need to create, so this script include, we created a class called GetUserGroups, and inside the class we created a function called fetchGroups that's going to take in the requested for. So let's first make an object of this class. We're going to do new with the class name. And we're going to do dot so that we can call a function in this class, which is called fetchGroups. And now we need to pass in the requested for field. So how do we do that? So the first step is to just check the internal name of the requested for. So this is the field that we created right here. And the internal name is requested underscore for. So let's copy that as an input. And then we need to say, we're going to write in the keyword current. So the current form that we're on, and on this current form, we want to access the variables. So do dot variables. And of course, the variable we want to access is the requested for. So assuming I didn't make a mistake, that should be all there is to it. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then I am going to go back to the form. We're going to do a nice little refresh. And if we take our same example, Abdel Tutor. So if I click on I, we saw that if I click on group members, he was in App Engine admins. So now if I close that, we should not see App Engine admins because we're filtering out the groups that the user is already in. And if I search for it, we don't see it. So it seems to be working. We'll take another example here. If we do Amos, click on I, this user is in no groups already, so there should show all the groups and it shouldn't cause any trouble. So it won't even do the query step because the user's not in any groups. Actually, that's incorrect. It will do the query step because the user is selected, but it's going to return no records, so it will filter out nothing. So if I do a drop down click, we can see that all the groups are there. And if I select another user, I'm going to do Control V. We can see App Engine Admins shows up because this user is not already in App Engine Admins. However, they are in the group US Presidents Group 2. Great name, by the way. That won't show up because they're already in it. But if I go to Abdel, then we see it because they're in it. And now if I do submit, our automated form will automatically add the user to the group. So I'm just going to go back. So that should be fairly quick. And now if I select Abdel again and I click I, we can see that the user's in two groups now. So that seemed to work. And we are going to close that and try searching for it, and we shouldn't see it now because we've already added the user to the group. So this is just a simple example of a advanced reference quantifier with a script included. If you ever want to incorporate server-side scripting as part of your querying, I highly recommend using an advanced reference quantifier when it is needed. In this case, it was needed because it was a different table than what our reference was pointing to. So that's pretty much it for this video. I really just wanted to focus on advanced reference quantifier. We're going to keep building off of this forum for further use cases in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to just shoot me a comment. Wishing you guys a fantastic day. Talk soon. See you guys. Bye-bye.